All right, episode 11. I know I've been away for a minute with these, but this is pretty cool. This is going to be a cool episode. This is something neat I picked up. I think I picked this up last weekend. Funny story. Younger me would never, back in 1986, 87, I started riding in 87, but would never have bought one of these bikes. I mean, I saw people riding these thinking, oh God, that's the old man bike. Oh my gosh, who rides with, you know, racks and you know just they called them touring bikes back then, but I looked at them and went like, who rides those things? Oh my gosh. But um Cannondale made a model. I had to do a little research. I'm not super knowledgeable on these, but 86, 87, I think 88, 90. They made just ST. This is the ST800, and then they made the ST1000. That was their top of the line, as we called it back then, touring, super touring. And what you do, it had racks on it, and you would put your sleeping bag and your tent and your all your goodies on there. Had 3 bottle cages, so you could load up with water bottles. The gearing was more suited toward, you know, climbing. Back then, they thought that. You look at it now, you're like, it's it's far from it. But anyway, I originally, well, let's go back to, um, I'd been watching this bike for a while, and it looked, it was far from new, but I'd kept an eye on it, probably for a week before I got it, and I talked to the lady. I said, "Hey, I'm interested, but I can't get out there and get it till the weekend. It may come out." She lived. It wasn't super far away, but it was far enough to where it kind of needed to be worth it, or you know, waste of gas. So, um, uh, did a little research on it before I went out there, and I was like, "Man, I need to get this." You don't ever, ever see these for sale. That's the funny thing. I think a lot of times back then, people bought the SR models, the racing bikes, and the sport bikes, not these. These were just, it just, touring was popular back then, and then now it's really, now bikes have rack. That's the cool thing, to have racks on your, or put all your gear on your bike. It's popular now again, but back then it was super popular. But Cannondale didn't sell a ton of those compared to the SR models. So there's not a lot of them floating around out, and especially the ST800 and the ST1000. I've never ever seen one for sale, and if you do, it's usually missing the racks, or it doesn't have all 3 bottle. It's missing, or the Brooks saddle's gone. That's the first thing people snatch off of it, because they are expensive. But um, I was thinking it was an '87. Not seeing it in person yet, so I went out there. Told her I'll take it. It was $100, which, oh my gosh, I got to go get this thing. This is a bargain. And I went out there, and it was in her garage. Older lady. Husband had passed away. Um, he had it back then, and he got into motorcycle riding, and the bike went in the garage. I mean, he'd used it for a long time. It went in the garage, and it probably got moved around and moved around and moved around, bumped and but and definitely had been used, which is good. They're supposed to be, but she had it in her garage and rolls it out, and it it's sweaty. Don't get me wrong, but it's all there. The bones are good. Everything's there. All the racks, all the bottle. No, I had to take that back. It was 2 of the 3 cages were on it. Ended up, I found luckily on eBay, somebody had the color matched Cannondale, and their Cannondale marked cages uh, on eBay, and I bought it. And the Brooks saddle, which I'm going to tell you in a minute, I got the year wrong. I thought it was an '87, and no, by the seat post on it, puts it as an '86, and it did not have a Brooks. It was I can't think of the brand that was on it. It was only on it for 1 year, but it looked like a Brooks. It had copper rivets and a brass copper rivets, and it was leather just like a Brooks, but wasn't a Brooks. Brooks came on the '87, so I found me it looked the part for the bike. I didn't want to put a brand new one. Brand new one's like $350. It's like a really good baseball glove. I found me a really nice used Team Professional Brooks. That's what went on it. Found one and got that. Even though technically, this was before I found out it was. I should have looked at the serial number on why I didn't. But the seat post puts it at an 86. But same, I think the same bike. I think the only thing it changed to was the freewheel on the 86 and the 87. But same color, anthrite. But it was it's rough, but it's not to the point where it's too rough to for it's all there, and I'm probably going to keep it like this. That's why I got the saddle. It kind of matched the condition of it. Need to get bar tape, and it was tan Chinelli bar tape went on it. And the funky thing about these is you got to remember back then, late 70s, early 80s, up till a certain point, they put 27-inch wheels on these things, which I don't know why, but you know, trying to find a quality tire now for those things is almost impossible. There's a few out there, but not many. And it's 5-speed, which for 1987, I thought they would at least put a 6-speed on it, but it's 5-speed. And then that crank, that gear ratio is the smallest. It's like this, and then it jumps to a, I think it's a 40. I don't even know the gear, but you look at it and go like, my gosh, this would have been horrible riding, and having being a 5-speed is even crazier. But yeah, 27-inch wheels, insane. Has all the racks like I mentioned earlier. Got the third K, has all 3 cages. Got the Brooks saddle that matches. I just got to get me some bar tape and then tires, tubes. And I'm going to keep it like it is. If I can repair that rear fender, you'll see in the video what I'm talking about. They're plastic, which I don't understand why they didn't make aluminum ones, but I think I can fix it. If not, there's a brand called Velo Orange, or they make some called the Zeppelins that look retro-y. They're aluminum. And if worst case, I'll get me some of those and put them on there, just so it'll have the fenders like it should have. But like I said earlier in the video, I never would have bought. This was the geeky bike. The geeky riders rode these, and I'm like, I'm gonna ride one of those. I want a racing bike. So get older, you're like, that's kind of a cool bike. I want one of those. And I've been looking for one of these for a while, but and you never see them. So I was like, I'll never find one of these things. And then bam, she had one. Sweetest old lady ever. We had a big old long conversation when I went out there about her husband and just stuff in general, what he used to do. Not so much about the bike, you know, just him in general. And it's cool finding out who owns these things before you get them. And he had good taste. I mean, this bike cost almost $1,000 in 1986. That's a lot of money. But yeah, I'm gonna keep her. I'm not gonna. I thought about painting it. I can paint. I know how. But you'd have to strip everything off. I'd have to find those decals, which I think I can get. But you have to strip everything off the frame, strip it, which I think I can find somebody to strip aluminum. But it has a chromoly fork, steel fork. They did that back then. But yeah. I don't know, but right now I'm just going to keep it like this. As they say with motorcycles, it's sweaty. He used it, but anyway, video will come next. Take a little peek at it, but it's pretty cool. I will definitely hold on to this one. I'm a Cannondale fan anyway, but this is the early one. It still has the patent. If you look on I didn't zoom in on it, but on the chainstay, it has a patent number, which tells you that's early. Cannondale was still working on the patents, apparently. The seat post, all one piece binder bolt, which now they have a clamp you put on there, and it keeps them from snapping the frame. But back then, it was all one piece. The pizza plate has Cannondale, the black behind the sprockets has Cannondale written on it. So I normally take those off, but this goes with the bike. Yeah, it's cantilever brakes, which is pretty cool, and it takes a slightly wider tire. It doesn't take the big giant wide one. I wish it did, but I'll put 1 1/4. I think it's 27 by 1 1/4 is what goes on it, and that's what I'll put back on it. Tan walls, of course. I mean, has to match the era, but But yeah, this will be pretty neat. When I get it done, I'll probably do another video and show you what it looks like all done. And it's not a lightweight either. It's about 27 pounds, but early aluminum, early Cannondale. The head badge or the head decal is pretty cool. It's the older Depot, which is Cannondales are named after, older logo, and it's on the top tube. And it only has 3 decals. Besides the patent numbers, it has the top one on the top tube. It says Cannondale, and then it has the head tube one. And I think that's all they put on those things. It's got a weird bottom bracket too, but I may make another video and talk about some of these weird things that are on this bike that I'm just so surprised it's 5-speed though, which is, I don't get it, because 6-speed was out then. I want to say in 87, yeah, it could have been 6-speed, which the 88 is, but, and I think the ST800, I think it is too. I think it's 6-speed. It's weird how they made this one 5 and that's it. I don't get it, but you can see how this would have been gourmet back in the day. You would have walked in and bought this bike. It's pretty cool. That's a lot of money spending. That's $900 and something in 1986. Yeah, that's insane back then. That's an expensive bike. Of course, Cannondales weren't cheap, especially that top-end race bike they had. They weren't cheap back then, but yeah, anyway, check out the video, and I'll explain a little about it. But anyway, I will see you guys later. Yeah, I thought it was a 87. It's actually an 86. But anyway, check this thing out. There's the Diacomp cannies. There's your front fender and matching front racks. You can see the old Cannondale logo on the head tube there. Nito Randor bars, Nito stem. There's the old Cannondale logo on the top tube. Yeah, look at those racks. Pretty cool. Sagino crank, which I'll say again in a minute. It's anthrite is the color. It's like a bluish gray. Check out that C-post, that superb C-post. Look at that Brooks saddle. Rear rack, rear fenders. You can see it's broken. I'm going to have to fix that. Hopefully I can. 27-inch wheels. Triple cages, all color matching as well. Those tires are going to have to go. They're beyond dry rotted. Needs bar tape as well. There's your Suntour Superb 5-speed friction down tube shifters. Yeah, there's bottle cages again. Pretty cool. Sagino crank. Look at that gear ratio. It's crazy. Superb front. There's your cannies. There's your rear fender. There's your rear rack. Color matching as well. And that pizza plate came on it. I'm going to keep it on. It says Cannondale on it, so I'm going to keep that on there. There's where it was bought. It's a 23-inch bike. Yeah, there's your seat post is beautiful still. Look at that saddle too, beautiful. But anyway, check that out. Pretty neat. All original too. See ya.